Super. Hi, I'm Taher Mahmood. You optimize the podcast towards excellence. So the idea is that we're always work in progress, and we can look to learn from one another and get some support and ideas about how we can do small to our productivity. And this is an ongoing thing. It's never done. We're always adding small steps in that sort of aspiration. And we're really privileged to have Ben with us today. Ben has a particular expertise in performance and productivity, and really sort of looking at a whole array of different factors that help us or help him and his clients be more productive. So we really have a very valuable resource today. So Ben, just say a little bit about you, and then we'll go into what you do to help you be more productive and build on the success that you have.
Hi to hear. Yeah, thanks for having me. I am a health and wellbeing coach. We're based down on the south coast near Chichester, but we coach remotely all over the world. And exceptional wellbeing through something we call the Big Five. So the Big Five for us is and how we recover. And like you kind of mentioned there, there's lots of little habits around those Big Five that move you towards exceptional well-being. And then when you do that, you're far more productive.
Ben, the quality is not so good. I'm just going to turn the camera off. Maybe you want to do the same, and we'll see if that makes any difference.
Okay, I'm going to quickly go and check my. How do I turn the camera off? There. Let me just go and quickly check my internet because it's a 5G thing. See if I can move.
Okay.
Should be okay. If it's really bad, I'll run over the road where we've got fibre. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, well let's try that. We'll just yeah, Ben, please start again.
Okay, if it's not good, I'll just go over the road.
I mean, I can hear you clearly just in the last few seconds. Go ahead.
Okay,
so yeah.
Hi to here. Thanks for having me. My name is Ben. A company called Wooterings Fitness, and we coach our members all over the world to achieve exceptional well-being. And we do that through something called the Big Five, which is how we move, how we think, how we nourish, how we protect. That is the framework we use to coach all of our members.
Super. We'll persevere, Ben. I mean, it is a little bit sort of choppy, but let's. So just give us sort of a bit of an outline, Ben, of your journey to doing this, and you know the sort of the sort of why that you have in terms of wanting to be a resource for your clients.
Yeah. Okay. So once upon a time, I was in the army, so I spent 8 years in the military, and I constantly picked up little injuries which kept preventing me from achieving the health and well-being that I really wanted, and they kept setting me back, and I'd pick up an injury, I'd be in the physio's office wondering why I got so injured, and never really got the answers I wanted, I suppose. So I sort of did a lot of research myself to fix my own body, and then that led me down the path to understanding mindset, understanding nutrition a bit better. And once I kind of got so far down the journey, down that road, I always feel like I'm carrying on down that road, but it just feels like I should share that knowledge with other people. So that's my backstory, and the reason why is just because I feel like it's achievable for everybody. If it was achievable for me, it's achievable for everybody.
No, that makes sense. And so the program that you have honed over a period of time both for yourself and for your clients over the years and so on. It's now in a very streamlined way. So you said there are sort of 5 elements. How did you arrive at those 5 elements? And then you can go into maybe a little bit about what those 5 elements
Yeah.
are.
Okay. Yeah, I think to start with, based on the fact that I had lots of injuries, all I did at the start was I just taught people what I had learnt about how to move properly, and
Hmm.
then people started getting fitter. So the people who I was coaching, very much I just was focused on movement, and then I realized that these people aren't really losing any weight. What's going on here? I thought you could just exercise and it would happen, but there's more to it than that, it turns out. And
Yeah.
so I started getting interested in nutrition and how nourishment works,
Hmm.
and really understanding that, because that's a very confusing field for a lot of people, but it affects them in a big way. And then that led me into how we think. I noticed that some people kind of have a negative mindset, and that seems to cause them stress. And actually, how people think can, they can hold that stress in their body, and that can potentially lead to injuries. And just the stress just
Mm.
causes them ill health, essentially. And then these other things, so recover was a big part of my learning, because I started realizing that I need to recover after I exercise. I can't just exercise, and not allow my body to recover. So there's a better way to recover. There's a better way to manage the stress that goes on your body from exercise. And then
Mhm.
and then that final piece of the puzzle was protect. So protecting myself against toxins in the environment, um, protecting my sleep cycles, that kind of thing. So how do I protect myself when I have to stand at or I could sit at my computer all day? How do I protect myself against that? Or I can stand at my computer, things like that.
Yeah.
Things that are lifestyle factors, really,
Yeah.
that are affecting my health in a big way.
Yeah, yeah, and then obviously you're a student of all of these different things, so you're able to make some refinements
Mm.
as you're going along and so on. This is sort of, I take it is something that you're continually updating and adjusting and so on.
Yeah, all the time. So we have a free report that people can get on our website, which I think you did when we met. Um, and you scored very well.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's always being refined, always learning. There always seems to
Yeah,
be something new, especially these days, around health and
yeah,
well-being and the big five. But there are also the basics, which I think are often overlooked. And what I do is I focus
yeah,
on getting those basics in place first. You might have heard of the 80
yeah.
20 principle. So how do we get the 80% of what people need to do in place, and then they can go and do the 20% afterwards once they've got those basics? Because I think there's no point in doing some of the fancy nutritional tests or whatever when you can't get the habit of drinking water in place, because
Hmm.
the fancy
Yeah, yeah.
nutrition is not going to necessarily help you if you're not drinking any water, for example.
So
So
what are
yeah.
the sort of the basics? Is that, yeah? Just list out the sort of the very basics. So yeah. Otherwise, sometimes people we can get lost in complexity, can't we? And
Mm,
overlook that. I mean, people say, "Oh, can I tweak this?
definitely.
Can I tweak that?" When they're smoking or drinking too much or whatever.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's those basic habits that everyone kind of knows. There is 25 of them. That's about as simplistic as I
Okay.
could get. I mean, I could narrow it down even more, but I got it to 25. So I'll pick.
Uh-huh.
So for example, exercise wise, or we call it movement, because movement is not necessarily exercise, because movement means, can I do my joints move freely without pain? Am I walking 7,000 steps a day? Am I doing some strength and conditioning? We like 3 times a week. 3 times a week feels good for most people. Um,
Hmm.
and Yeah, that kind of thing, like it's real basic stuff. With nourishment, we're talking about, am I drinking my water? You can be a bit more specific than 2.5 liters of water, but 2.5 liters does most people as a minimum. Am I eating enough fruits and vegetables? Am I paying attention to gut health? Those kind of things. Am I minimizing sugar, caffeine, alcohol, like you said? These are real basic things that once you got in place, then you can start doing all the sports supplements and the special nutritional tips. But yeah, that's kind of an example. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely, and it gives a bit of a understanding on the kind of sort of elements that come into your attention and focus, and you want people to be aware of. So just your own sort of personal, like a daily sort of routine, or the things that you do that you find particularly beneficial, and or there's, and then related to that, is there one thing that you've done that's particularly been beneficial for you in terms of setting you up for your day and to help your day be more productive?
In productivity things, I would say fasting is probably the biggest for me. Fasting
Yeah.
has a big impact on my energy levels, and therefore I'm more focused. I'm not thinking about food. I'm not really thinking about eating. But yeah, I often get asked, what's the one thing I can do to do X, Y, and Z? And then I say, well, there's not one thing. There's 25 things. Go to the website.
Yeah. No, this is about you and what you find. So the fasting is something that, as you say, you said that's particularly beneficial. I mean, it's got lots of fasting has many metabolic benefits, as you know. So how long have you been doing fasting, and sort of how? And there are obviously many different ways of doing fasting. What's the sort of particular approach that you're taking with your fasting, or is there a range of things that you do? Because it's a quite a big subject, isn't it? Fasting and the details around that.
Yeah, definitely. So what do? I personally eat in a 8 hour window, so probably less than that really. I sort of eat between 12 and 8. So I probably, my last meal will be about 7 p.m. and then my first meal is usually midday. Um,
Mm.
and outside of that, I don't drink anything except water, maybe some super greens, and I do have a bit of coffee, but usually I'll have decaf because I find that too much caffeine scrambles my brain. Um, and
Yeah,
and that's it really. And I haven't done anything too extreme with it yet, but I am aware of the
yeah,
research, and I did try a whole day once, which was quite good.
yeah.
But if you are
Uh-huh.
brave and you're feeling like you can do 2 or 3 days, then there are some unbelievable health benefits around that.
Yeah. No, there's obviously growing interest in this subject, isn't there? And our systems need a bit of a break from having a whole stack of calories, attacking it at any time of the day and night, sort of thing, because we have such ready access to very
Mm.
rich food and so on. So calorie-rich food. No, that's fantastic. So is there one other thing that perhaps you could share with the listeners, that you find particularly valuable, or when you introduce that other thing, it further improved your productivity, or your sort of energy?
Yeah. Okay. So perhaps, one of the most important questions on that Big Five assessment is, do you treat yourself? It's a think question. So do you treat yourself as well as you
Hmm.
would treat a good friend? And there's lots of implications that fall out of that from when you don't treat
Yeah,
yourself well.
yeah.
So my habit is morning routine, morning journaling.
Uh-huh.
So um,
Yeah.
I I read a little bit of Stoicism and kind of take inspiration from the Stoics, and I will journal about
Hmm.
that, and then if there's anything on my mind, I'll write it down, and that just gives me a lot of I don't know, it's just a really nice morning thing to do, build self-awareness into my day. And I think the biggest
Hmm.
hurdle for most people is building that self-awareness, because that will make you more productive because you're then more aware of your thoughts, and yeah, it's just your habits are much better and it has a big impact. So that is a big change for me when I started doing that. And it's a small change. It seems small at the start, but I think over time it's
Mm.
quite a big thing that you can do.
That's impressive. Um, Ben, this has really been useful. We tend to do these things as quite a sort of brief thing, which is sort of just a bit of an introduction. And we want to come back and sort of build on this. But you've been very generous in terms of sharing, the particular focus that you have on exercise, nutrition, mindful stuff, recovery, and then doing protective things so you're able to improve your resilience and in terms of your clients and the yourself is always focusing on the basics and then sort of embellishing and adding to stuff, and then the next particular sort of one or two items that you're concerned is fasting and then sort of journaling and having this sort of idea about sort of setting you up in a particular way so that you get the most out of your day. I mean, it's been really generous of you to share all of these things. Any sort of quick final words? We'll put in some links to your website and stuff.
No, thanks for having me. It's been great. Yeah, the links on the website. Like I say, we just want to give all of that knowledge away for free. So it's on the website. People can go and get their free report, and then it will give them some suggestions of what to do to improve.
Yeah, and this is really generous of you, actually. So I can really recommend the questionnaire. You get a feedback. You got a whole stack of other tools. We're going to come back and go into this in more detail and collaborate on other stuff. So we're just going to stop there, and then hopefully we'll revisit. Ben, thank you very much.
Just a